Hello there and welcome back to the 100 Acre Wool Knitting Podcast. My name is Bella and not as always, I'm coming to you from a new place. So if you're not aware, I recently moved. I am no longer in Los Angeles. I am still in California, but we moved up to the Bay Area, so more Northern California area. So this is our new place. We're still very much getting settled in. If you couldn't tell, it's been a while since my last podcast, so a lot of new things are happening around here, and it is feeling much more like a home here now that we're getting things settled, but it's still very much in flux. I'm very excited that I will have a new studio space, but it is nowhere near finished yet, so today I'm in the living area, living dining area. But anyways, I hope you are doing well. For those who are new around here, welcome. This is a knitting podcast where I like to share with you what I'm knitting on, what I'm making, and new designs if I have those in the works, in progress. So I have quite a few things to share with you, some things that I've been working on just in the spare moments of us moving in and getting settled. So a few things to share with you today and some yarn acquisitions and fun things like that. So let's just get straight into it. First a few announcements before I forget. So a few things have happened since I was last able to talk to you. I think it's been about a month since the last episode, so a lot has happened. But first thing is we have a new design released on Ravelry now. So the champagne tank, here it is. So this design is now available on Ravelry. I know I figured for people in the Northern Hemisphere, it is now fall, very much fall. It's like the middle or towards the end of October, and maybe people don't really want to be wearing a tank top. But anyways, I had designed this and I really just wanted to publish it for people who would want to knit it right now. Anyways, you could always wear this as a layering piece anyways. I have been wearing this with sweaters on top and cardigans and things, and you could throw a shawl over it and be perfectly toasty warm. But anyways, this pattern is now available on Ravelry. So it comes in 9 different sizes. It uses a very drapey, flowy yarn. This yarn I hand dyed. It's naturally hand dyed, and the color is coming up a little off right now, I think. So I will also insert some photos so that you can see the actual real color of it. But yeah, so this pattern is live now, and also the yarn that I dyed for it is also on my Etsy shop. I have a few skeins left if you would like to pick that up to knit this or anything else. Almost all of the sizes use 2 skeins, and there are 2 skeins left, so if you would like to pick that up, it is available currently in the Etsy shop, but I will be dyeing it more soon, again, once we get more settled around here, because things are still a bit crazy. But yeah, so that pattern is live, and I also have kind of an exciting announcement to share with you. I'm excited about it. So what I'm wearing today is the Cousli cardigan. I designed this cardigan for the Lina 14 magazine, issue 14 of Lina magazine, and that was their previous summer issue. So this past summer that just happened, it was in that issue, and it is now available as a single pattern that you may purchase on Ravelry if you would just like this pattern to knit for fall or Christmas presents or anything like that. It's now available as a single pattern on Ravelry, so I will also be linking that down below. And for those who are new around here, I always link everything in the description below this video. So yarn that I talk about, patterns, anything at all, links to Ravelry page, like project pages, all of that good stuff is down below. Also links to my other social accounts. Everything is down there, so if you would like more information, find it down below. And also timestamps, if you would like to skip to something. So anyways, this pattern is now available by itself if you would like to knit it. It is very comfy and very cozy. This was the sample garment that I had knit for the magazine. Had to send it over to them for them to do photo shoots and different things with it. But they finally sent it back in the mail. I was so excited because it's so comfortable and cozy to wear. I've just been wearing it non-stop It's a perfect fall cardigan in my opinion. It's just, it's so cozy warm. And the yarn that I used for this particular one, this is a Woolfolk yarn. It is their Luft base, which is 50% wool and 50% cotton. So I can really wear this cardigan in so many different temperatures, and it's comfortable to wear because since there is that bit of cotton in it, it's not always super warm, but it can be. It can kind of go with a lot of different temperatures, if that makes sense. It's warm when you need it to be warm, and it's cooler when you need it to be cooler. So anyways, I will stand up so you can see more of the details because I'm sitting down. And I'll also put in some photos, but we have Latvian braids going all the way around and also on the hem here, and then on the bracelets as well. What do you call those? Wrist. Sorry, losing my words. And then there's some color work here on the shoulders as well as a few baubles. These you can omit if you would like. I include instructions in the pattern. You can knit it to however you would like it. So I include that direction in the pattern as well. But yeah, so you can unbutton it and wear it loose, or button it and have it do this lovely V-neck shape. So that is available by itself as well. So with that, let's get into what I've been working on. I have a finished object to share with you. So this is a hat that I knit as a test knit for Herb Garden Knitwear, Hannah of Herb Garden Knitwear, and she designed this hat. It is called the Monument Hat, and it was a test knit, really quick test knit. I was not a good test knitter on this because I was late because moving happened, and that was all a big mess. It kind of happened really quickly. The whole process of us moving started and was finished within 3 weeks. We knew we were moving and then we moved within 3 weeks, so it was a lot. Anyways, this was a test knit for her, and I finally finished it and cast it off. It's called the Monument Hat, and I am so in love with it. I just think it's such a cute pattern. These are done, the little design is done with cables, really, really simple cables. I say if you have never done cables before, I would definitely recommend this pattern. It's a good pattern to start with if you haven't done cables before and you want to try it. And then some ribbing here at the bottom with a folded hem rib. Really simple pattern to execute, but I think it looks adorable. So the yarn that I used for this is, let's see, Woolfolk Manchalopi for the main, as the main yarn, and then I held it with Drops Kid Silk Mohair to give it a fluffiness, and that's also what the pattern called for. I think actually the pattern called for Nutiden yarn, if I'm not mistaken. So just another unspun yarn. If you're not new around here, you know I love Nutiden, but I am really happy to have started working with Manchalopi yarn because it's really, really lovely. So Manchalopi is a yarn by Wool Dreamers, and it is also an unspun yarn similar to Nutiden or Plötchalopi, but it's a little bit different to work with. It feels, I don't want to say denser, because I do think it's a similar yardage per 100 grams or whatever it would be, but I don't know, it feels more muchy to work with. It feels like it won't just break so easily, if that makes sense. And it also seems like more of the colors are, it seems like all the colors in their range are very similar to work with, whereas Nutiden, for example, all the colors feel different to knit with. Because they're different fiber bases. So I think these are much more similar, if not the same. So it just felt different to work with, but I'm really happy with the result and I really love it. It's very cozy warm, and yeah, I'm just very happy with how it came out. So this particular color is called Azul. So it's this really beautiful light blue with some gray to it. I'm sorry if the color is coming out a little bit yellow. But it's a really beautiful light gray blue, and it also has some pink and purple to it. It's kind of hard to see right now, but it does have some little pink and purple specks throughout, which is really lovely. Just adds a little bit of warmth to the whole yarn. So yeah, I really enjoyed that pattern. I think if I had been working on it more consistently than I was able to, this would be a really quick knit. Hats are usually very quick, so I really enjoyed it. This was knit on, let me see, 6mm needles. I believe a US size 10 is what I used. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, very quick knit, and it was 2 strands of the mancholopi. Mancholopi already comes as 2 strands. Like when you're knitting it off the plate, it's already 2 strands, so it's already all done for you, which I think is awesome. It made this whole process so much easier. I didn't even have to wind it into a ball first or anything. I could just knit off the plate. And like I said, it doesn't break as easy either. So it was very easy to just pull it from the plate, and no breakage was happening. It was very seamless and easy. So really enjoyed that quick little knit. And I do believe this pattern is now available on Ravelry. I'll find it and I'll link it below for you. So, and next we will talk about another finished object. So this is a new design of mine that I have coming. It is called the Caroline Shawl, and it is now completely finished. I'm so excited to have it finished. And if you have seen me talk about this on the podcast before, do you notice anything different? Some of the stitches have changed. So I had told you guys I was gonna be doing something. It was planned from the beginning to be transforming some of these stitches, and I have finally gotten to that point. So we have some vertical braids happening. Can you see that? So there were some lines of stockinette stitch, and I have turned those into vertical braids, and I'm just so happy with the outcome. I think it turned out really beautiful, and it's so cozy and warm and big. I can't even get the entire thing in the frame. It's just so huge. I think it's about a 66-inch wingspan. So from tip to tip, the widest point is 66 inches, but I also haven't blocked this yet, so it may grow a bit. I'm gonna try to make it not grow because I don't want it to actually get very much bigger. But it's very cozy warm, it's very soft. Yeah, I'm gonna be wearing this all the time this fall. This is just gonna be on me all the time. So this pattern was kind of just an experimentation with a bunch of different textures. I wanted to see what that would look like putting them in kind of a repeating grid sort of pattern, and also asymmetrical in an asymmetrical shawl. So yeah, this was just a fun design, kind of just playing with techniques and incorporating a lot of different things, and I think it came out really fun. So the name, the Caroline Shawl, it was partially inspired by Caroline of Acre, which Acre is the parent company. They create Knitted and Yarn, which this is made from Knitted and Yarn, and I kind of wanted to give an ode to Caroline for creating Knitted and Yarn. You all know, if you're not new around here, you know how much I love and appreciate Knitted and Yarn, so I wanted to design a little pattern as kind of a thank you to her for creating such beautiful yarn. So yeah, this shawl ended up using almost exactly 300 grams of Janvia, which is the colorway that I used for this sample. Which Janvia, if I remember correctly, it has kind of a bit of lanolin left in it, so it's kind of a bit heavier than some of the other yarns you could find from Acre. Since there is that lanolin left in, then you don't get as much yardage for the grams. So I think 300 grams of any colorway would probably do you perfectly fine for this shawl to knit the whole thing, if you just wanted to grab a 300 gram bag for it. But yeah, I think kind of a normal amount of yarn usage for this size of a shawl. And it's just so luxurious and just, oh, I love wearing it. It's just wrapping up in coziness. Yes, so this has been a joy to knit and a joy to do the little finishing, and I can't wait to have it blocked and to be able to share it with you. So the test knit will be coming soon. I am almost finished with the pattern and the tutorial. I am making a tutorial for the little braid stitches, how to do that. So those are almost finished, and then once I get those finished, I will post the test knit call on my Instagram page. So if you would like to follow me there to sign up for the test knit, that will be on my Instagram. And let's see what is next. So we have another work in progress. I don't think I've shown this to you all yet, but I started knitting the Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry. Kind of an old pattern, but I had not gotten to knit it yet, and I really have wanted this in my wardrobe, in my life, this pattern. So I have started knitting on it. So here is how it's coming out so far. It has grown quite a bit. I think I am halfway through, if not more than halfway through. I just love the little details on this shawl. So it has this little lacy bit that comes and goes. I just think it's so cute. So this pattern, if you're not aware or if you haven't knit it before yourself, it uses mohair and a fingering weight yarn. It uses both, but not held together. So what I chose to use for this particular one, Ruby and Rose's yarn, Addie of Ruby and Rose's yarn, she so kindly sent me some of her yarn from a new collection that she had. It is her letter writer collection, and we did kind of a little collab that she would send me some yarn and I was going to knit a pattern from it. So this is the yarn that I chose from the collection. She has so many beautiful colorways, which I will show you all of them in a second, or towards the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But these particular colorways are actually the same colorway, it's just in different bases. So I can be a little bit sensitive to mohair sometimes. So since this is a shawl and I knew it was going to be around my neck, which is my most sensitive area, I actually chose to go with Surrey alpaca, a Surrey alpaca base instead of the mohair portion. So this portion is her Surrey alpaca base in the stationary colorway, and then the fingering yarn is her new MCN base, new merino, cashmere, and nylon base. So that one there is also the stationary colorway. So I just thought it was such a beautiful colorway, so natural, but has little pops of pinks and browns and yellows, and it's just a very interesting colorway, but I think still very wearable. So yeah, that's coming along well, and I'm really enjoying the pattern. It is mostly garter stitch, if you couldn't tell. Most of the pattern is garter stitch, so it's quite a simple, easy TV knit, but then every once in a while you do have to pay attention for the lace sections, and then there are some increases, but it creates a really interesting shape, kind of this, it kind of looks like a bird. Triangular, long, I don't know how you want to describe it, but it's a very interesting, unique shape, and it's going to be so drapey and flowy, and I'm just really excited to have it off the needles and to be able to wear it. This has been my go-to, wanting to kind of turn my brain off and just knit on something really mindless and easy, because it's just mostly all knit stitches. So would highly recommend this pattern and this yarn if you haven't tried them yet, especially this yarn. Oh my goodness, so soft. For non-superwash yarn, which I'm not usually a huge fan of, I just usually tend to gravitate more towards rustic yarns, non-superwash bases, but this one is very lovely and very soft, and it still does have some toothiness to it. It's not completely stripped and, you know, like a superwash yarn. Anyways, really loving that. Just look at this colorway. Isn't that just so gorgeous? I love hand-dyed yarn. And I also have another work in progress to share with you. I've gotten quite a bit of work done on my mom's April cardigan. I've been knitting the April cardigan by Petite Knit for my mom. It was supposed to be her birthday present, but her birthday was in September. So, you know, with the move and everything that's been happening, it kind of took a back seat for a little bit, but I was working on it as often as I could, and I've made some really good progress on it. So here is how it's looking now. It is complete with the body, and I have also finished one of the sleeves. And oh my gosh, this sleeve, I was so silly. Sometimes when patterns are so simple, like it's mostly just stockinette stitch with some shaping, but it's mostly simple, there's not like cables or lace going on. When it's like that, I tend to kind of tune out with the pattern, and I almost don't pay attention to it because like I kind of get what to do. But with this one, oh my gosh, I kind of tuned it out, and I started knitting the sleeve and I didn't do any decreases. Whereas with this pattern, you're supposed to do decreases on the sleeve because it's worked top down. So you start with armhole and then you knit downwards. I use 9-inch circulars because those are my new favorite way to knit sleeves or any sort of small circumference socks or anything like that. 9-inch circulars are my favorite. But anyways, I forgot to do all of the decreases, and I got to like almost the end of the sleeve before I realized it. And I had to rip it out because my mom, she wouldn't, I just know her style, and she wouldn't like a balloon sort of a sleeve. So I had to rip that all out and do it again. But that's okay because it's stockinette and it's really soft and lovely yarn, and it's a simple knit, straightforward to me. So I'm really loving this pattern. It, again, is simple, like I said, but it's a very elegant design. And it's hard for me to show you right now because it's still incomplete and I don't have the neckline in. But this particular design has a V-neck shape. So I put a stitch marker where I did my last increase in the pattern so that I would know that's kind of where the end of the V-neck stops. So that when I'm picking up stitches for the neckline, I would know to go straight from that point, if that makes sense. Instead of picking up along the edge with increases, I would know to go straight from that point. But anyways, yeah, it's kind of going to be like that. And then there's a beautiful little button band, and I think the neckline is ribbed, so similar to this sort of a thing, I'm pretty sure. I still have to talk to my mom. Someone had mentioned, I think it was the last episode, someone commented that you could do a double knit neckline, and I think that would look really beautiful. So I might end up doing that. So it would look still kind of like stockinette stitch. It wouldn't look ribbed. So I might end up doing that. I'll have to ask her what her opinion is on that. But yeah, so I love the construction at the shoulder. It's kind of a saddle shoulder, and it was just really elegantly worked in the pattern. Just a ingenious way to do it, I think. This is my first ever saddle shoulder, so I don't know if that's just, it's just, you know, that's just the way they are, that they're very intuitive, and they make sense, at least in my brain, but I really enjoyed it. So that's how the saddle shoulder came out. And it kind of, when you're wearing it, I can't put it on right now, but when you're wearing it, I've been trying it on, and it looks like a set-in sleeve. I think it's so cool. Maybe you can tell. So kind of where it's not a seam, it's increases, but kind of where those happen, it ends up looking like a set-in sleeve. So it's like an easy, quick cheat to that set-in sleeve look, but you don't have to do all the work of seaming and all that nonsense. Whew, fluff in my face. Yeah, so really excited with how this is coming along, and I'm so excited to get it out to her. I really want to finish the sleeve as soon as possible so that she can start wearing it for fall and winter. And for people who haven't seen my last episode, quickly, the yarn that I'm using is from La Bien-Aimée. It is their merino singles base and their Surrey alpaca base. So I think that's Kumo, and I forget what the fingering one is. I'll put it down below. But together, I'm holding them together throughout, and the base color is kind of it's a little bit variegated, but it's mostly like a flat lavender kind of color. And then all of the color shifts are happening with the Surrey alpaca. So I think it just gives such a subtle, really beautiful look. Yeah, I just really love the little pops of green and blues and purples throughout. But yeah, so holding those together, it is the softest cloud. Oh my goodness. You have to try this combination on something because these yarns are just incredibly soft. So the fingering weight is a superwash yarn, and it's very slick, it's very smooth, but the Surrey especially is my favorite. It's just, I don't know what they do, but it's so soft. So yes, I have been thoroughly enjoying knitting this pattern, and I really want to cast on one for myself, but I have a lot of things in the works right now, so I need to finish some things first before I could knit one for myself. Because that's what I'm telling myself that I need to do. And oh, one little detail is I also did the Italian bind off. I think that's what it's called. Yes, I ended up doing the Italian bind off. There's a few different versions that end up looking very similar, but I did the Italian bind off on the sleeves and also the hem of the body. So just really simple ribbing there, and then Italian bind off at the bottom, which I have been knitting so much with unspun yarn that I can't do Italian bind offs with unspun yarn. It just will keep breaking and breaking and breaking on you. So to have a spun yarn that I can actually do that on is a very nice treat. So I think that's all of the works in progress today, but now let's get into new yarn that has come into my life. So these yarns came before we moved, and it's been a while that I've had them in my stash, but I just wanted to share them with you. So Addison of Ruby and Roses yarn was so sweet. She decided to also send me some minis of her entire letter writer collection that I spoke about earlier, that I'm knitting my Birds of a Feather shawl with. So she sent me the whole collection. She has some speckled yarns and also some tonals. So these are the two sets that she sent. Such beautiful colorways. I am a sucker for speckled yarns. I just think being a hand dyer, like, you can do speckled yarns, and like I love that she's taking advantage of that. I think she's such a good speckler. Is that a good way to say that? I think she has beautiful speckled colorways, and I'm definitely going to be wanting to purchase some of her yarns in the future for other projects because it's just so beautiful. So I would just say go to her website, check out this new letter writer collection. Here are some of these speckled colorways. They are just so cool. And I believe she also has sets of the tonals with their respective speckled partner, because she kind of put them in together with sets. And this one right here is actually a mini of her stationery colorway, which I'm using to knit the Birds of a Feather shawl. So really cute set here. I can't wait to knit with these. I think I'm gonna make little socks or maybe do some sort of a color work with all of them. Just so cute. And then here are her tonals. Really rich, beautiful colorways. Love them so much. So yes, that is her letter writer collection, and thank you so much again, Addie, for sending these my way. I can't wait to knit with these. And you know me, there was another Honor Acre shop update for the September collection, I believe it was, and there were beautiful things, and I couldn't say no, because every time Caroline comes out with these gorgeous, amazing colorways, I just get all these ideas for new designs, and I had to pick them up. So let me share with you some of the colorways from the September collection. Some of these may still be available. I'm not entirely sure. They may have already sold out because this happened a while ago. It happened in September, and there was a shop update available to the public. I don't remember if there's any of these left, but just so you can kind of get an idea of the kind of colors that they make. This one is called Omge. I think that's how you say it. OMGE. I've been calling it OMG because it makes me say OMG when I look at it. It is just this gorgeous, deep, deep, deep blue. It has black also mixed into it. It's looking very green on the camera right now, but it is like, if you think of a deep sea, like the deepest part of the ocean, that is what this looks like. It is totally gorgeous. So some of these colors, actually most of these colors, I only picked up one plate of, just so I could see it in person and also have it for color work and different things that I would need just a smaller amount of yarn for. But there is one colorway at the end that I fell in love with head over heels, and there's a new pattern coming with it. But here's another one of the colorways from the collection. Just this gorgeous little apricot. It's so cheery and fun. And this one is called Hira, which I think together, these are actually very beautiful. So cute. So this one is more of a dusty pink, not as warm, a little bit of mauve incorporated into it, and kind of like a ballerina pink maybe. Not super pink, but feels kind of like that to me. And this one, a gorgeous green. This one actually reminds me of Grood and Tunit, but it's a little bit different. So just beautiful colorways. So I only picked up one plate of each of those. But then the last colorway of the collection, Lucra. I've been dreaming for a colorway like this in some sort of yarn. I've just wanted it in my life, and Caroline somehow knew and she created it. So here is Lucra. And I love the name. So the way that Caroline described it is turning over the earth. So kind of aerating compost, I think. That's what I think of when she said that. That's kind of the imagery that came to mind, is turning over the compost and aerating the compost and getting your hands in the soil and the dirt and the earth. And I think that is totally accurate for this color. So it is a brown base. I think it's a natural brown base, really, really deep, almost black brown. Focus. And then it also has yellow mixed in. So I think overall it gives a very green impression, like a really deep earthy green. But when you look up close in person, there's just so much life to it with all the yellows, and it's like sun and earth, sun and dirt mixed together. So I just fell in love with this colorway, and a new design will be coming, a blanket. I think it's going to be a blanket because I just want to wrap up in this color. Has to be close to my heart. And this one smells amazing too. Oh my goodness. Anyways, you know my obsession with Nutiden. So a new pattern is going to be coming. Yeah, very excited to start knitting with this one. Actually have more time to sit down and knit and not be so cluttered in my head. Moving is just a crazy situation. This is my first big move that has ever happened in my life. Other moves have been like in college and not moving like everything of my whole life. So it's been a lot of new things for me, and also getting a bunch of new furniture, because I've only ever really had a bedroom and an office for my knitting and sewing and things, but like a couch and a dining table and like normal things that, I don't know, I just didn't think about that like you need these things for a home. And it's just a lot going on, and a lot of going places and finding secondhand furniture and just a lot of new things. Very busy, but in a good way. Good things. So I'm excited for things to start settling down and to start knitting and spinning and sewing more, getting back to the things that I love, and making this place a home. So that is it for today. I hope you have enjoyed. Hope you have a lovely rest of your week. And if you enjoyed today's video, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully we will have the studio space in order, and I could give you guys a little bit of a tour of the new space. And maybe if you'd be interested, a tour of the whole place. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in, but let me know in the comments below. So thanks again for being with me, and I will talk to you next time. Bye bye.